goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Tonight, we have a clever mix of psych rock and sonic experimentation with heartfelt, honest storytelling from Philadelphia, Barney Cortez.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, joined by guest co-host
Dan Drago, coming to you from Hong Kong.
And you are listening to
Your next favorite band.
And technically 25 O'Clock Pod.
Sort of, yeah, sure. Phil's doing all the heavy lifting on this too. I just pull the content at the last minute and be like, yeah, I'll put this out.
Listen, I am more than happy to do that. I loved, being able to. Well, first of all, like we've talked about, I've been on such a tremendous run of Philly artists, and if any of that can kind of help, join up with the 25 O'Clock content. So you had the Flying V's. We're talking about a few others. Now we got Barney Cortez on today, and we're kind of doing it as a co-hosted thing for both shows, and I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I've known Barney for quite a few years at this point, and I interviewed him back in I didn't check this, but it was back in the pandemic, so it would have been like 2020 or 21 because it was virtual. But yeah, I've been a fan of Barney's stuff even back when he was in a great band called Nico's Gun. We'll talk more about that at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we definitely will. And I think the other thing is a very small few of the Philly artists I found on my own, and normally it was due to Musikfest just booking them. But most of the people, and Barney is one of them, you introduced them to me first, either through your show or just by recommending them. Man, he is such the Phil sound, like this, but just like what he plays, what he sounds like is just right, absolutely what my ears need.
Yeah, and his live band right now, I keep calling it like it's the super trio.
Is. And we have some recording we're going to share from Musikfest, so we'll get into what that band entails, a little bit later on. But let's check in with you first, Dan. How is it?
God.
We miss you terribly.
Well, y'all can just come see me.
And like you said off the top there, in Hong Kong. But 6, 7, 8 months now, and how's the settling in? You've got some new gear for the show. You've got some stuff really getting dialed in there.
I've almost 7 months. It's September now. It's also I have to note every time I do this show that whatever time you think it is 7 a.m. for me right now.
Yes, my apologies.
No, I agree to do it, and
that's true. You could have said that.
I could say no, that's too early, but I set my alarm, got up, and I was like, all right, well, time to do the show.
Time to put the cans on.
Sometimes I would, co-host with you, and I'd have, a can of beer, and now I have a mug of Joe. Mug of iced coffee. So
That's awesome.
Not hot coffee here. It's too hot.
That's too hot. And so that's a great pivot point. So I did want to bring up that topic and have it flip to the other topic I kind of wanted to banter with you a little bit about is Musikfest. But I did hear that it's so hot in July and August that you may try to get out of country next year. So that to me sounds like a perfect time to come spend the week of Musikfest with me.
We'll have to work out timing, but yeah, and it's not. We didn't just suddenly have this idea. Half the country does this. At
I
least
would imagine so. Yeah.
Most of the expat population does that.
Sure.
And it's because also the open, like the point where kids aren't in school here in Hong Kong, they really do go to school like almost the whole year, is very small. So I have friends on my little island, which is like a small island in the region. Most of my expat friends, like the day after school is out, they're on a plane with the kids, like back to Canada or the UK or Australia or wherever it is that they're from, and they don't come back until mid-ish August. But the school year runs from like late August to sometimes like early July, mid-July. So not and these kids are doing all kinds of stuff in the summer, and they do all kinds of stuff after school, like during the school year. There's a reason that certain countries excel scholastically. The students do, and it's not by chance. Like these kids work really, really hard to do stuff. So I'm always impressed at the work ethic of like even like 11 or 12-year-olds, and I'm just like, my gosh. And I feel bad. I'm just like, you're too serious. Like you have to like
get into some good trouble.
Yeah.
But
there are packs of students that roam around like feral beasts in shopping centers. Thankfully, I'm an adult, so they ignore me.
There you go. But so our Musikfest this year was the 10 days of absolutely perfect weather. Unbelievable. Normally you get like at least one, if not multiple days of rain. Usually there's a shutdown of the festival at some point because of thunder and lightning. There's also usually 90 plus degrees, almost like what you're talking about. It's a lot of times it's like comically hot. And this year was like low 80s, if not 70s, low humidity, all 10 days, no rain. Like
just rub it in, Phil. Just
unbelievable.
Rub it in.
Well, no, to the point of they were able to like shatter records. Like 1.4 million people came by the festival. Yeah, normally prior record was like 1.1 or almost 1.2. So like they were massively breaking records. And it was yet again just like a phenomenal lineup. So one of the things that's on my mind with my content. So I do it a lot for people who are wired like me. And when I know of someone like yourself who either likes going or just interested in the bands, especially certain ones, the Instagram content, the pictures and the videos that we post up there is so that people who either can't get there or can't get there for the days that maybe they want to be there, so that you can kind of get the feeling for it. And then even this past Friday was we call it Musikfest Optimum, and it's just basically the best of. And so that was a fun live stream. It goes about 2 hours because we're bringing on different guests to talk about what their favorite moments were, and then I'm playing videos to kind of highlight the different things. So like I played Barney's song Drink Hard, which was a great performance there. We have a different highlight here today to kind of share with people because I also like to sprinkle it around. But it's kind of a little bit of a kind of, wanted to get your take on some of that content that we put out there, but also a promotion of it. Like if people want to just kind of follow the Instagram content and the YouTube content so that they can kind of get this. The other thing I will say is August is just like purely Musikfest. So it's the preview show through the best of show. And then we move back into what we might call regular content. So I'm kind of happy about that. But anyway, I know you commented and saw some of the posts from Musikfest. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, every year Musikfest just blows me away. I don't think I ever made it to one until like a couple of years ago with you. I think you were my portal, my guide.
Your gateway drug.
And it's funny too, as I think about it, last year, which was my second time going, I think you were one of the first people I told that
I remember
that we were moving.
Yep.
I remember you and I were walking across a bridge in Bethlehem, just you and me, like kind of off of the group we were with. And I was like, I got to tell someone something right now. And for you, I'm like, you're an adult. You can keep a secret. Also, you're slightly adjacent to the community that like you won't tell anybody.
Yeah, I was definitely honored, but also saddened by. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I wanted to share these pictures with you. So basically, there was this walking, like a street act, basically. So in addition to the stages, they often will book things that are maybe non-musical, comedians, jugglers, those kinds of things to just be on the streets. Yeah. And 10 years ago, they had this act called Saurus, which were these basically people on stilts, but dressed as these almost prehistoric skeletons, in essence. It looks like something walked out of like the Museum of Natural History and started walking the streets. But for the first time ever, so I'm watching Zoe Lemon perform, and these Saurus creatures decided to attack the band. So here's those creatures. You can see that head. That's a stilt walker with that head trying to eat Zoe Lemon alive. And then the guitarist is basically feeding it its guitar. And then the people just celebrated. This was like this woman was like the queen of the creatures. To kind of give you a sense for, oh my God, it was so funny. I can't wait to talk to Zoe about that because I'm sure it was so funny because you could tell she had no idea what was going on.
Oh, and sometimes that can backfire.
Sure, absolutely. Well, she's so cute. She was just like, shoo, get out of here.
Yeah. No, they picked a good act. I was like, Zoe can handle it. Zoe
totally. Yeah, no, she was a lot of fun.
A giant dinosaur breaking into her set.
Absolutely. But lots of other good pictures out there and video and just other fun stories that we shared along the way. But hopefully that does come true, Dan. Hopefully we can have you join next year. I'll keep my fingers crossed. But let me know, and you're welcome here, of course, anytime as always.
Yeah, it's interesting coming when I think about next year coming back home. Is it like, oh, we don't have a house anymore? Right? I mean, we still have that. Someone's living in it, but it's like, right. Yeah, where am I going to stay when I go back to Philadelphia, the place I've called home for almost 22 years? Right. So no, it's good to know. We might take you up on that. It might be it would be quite a change of pace just to sort of enjoy Bethlehem as opposed to like the incredibly dense bustle of Hong Kong. So,
yeah. No, it'd probably be a breath of fresh air.
Oh yeah, hang out on the portico.
There you go. And so before we get to bringing Barney on the show, we're just going to share our sponsor, BetterHelp. Hey, music lovers! Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. More and more mental health topics of depression, anxiety, addiction, and more are coming up in our interviews with artists and musicians who are brave enough to share them and the music that came out of the journey. Those songs may even help us feel a little bit less alone as we work through the same struggles, but at the end of the day, we need more than just a great song. We need therapy, and that's where BetterHelp can assist. BetterHelp connects you with a therapist who can help you find your path. Instead of being stuck in the endless loop of questioning yourself, you can talk through questions, concerns with someone who's trained to help you find real answers. As you know, our Listen to the Dissonance shows help to create a safe space for vulnerable conversations, but not everywhere can feel that way. Since BetterHelp is accessed via their app, you can explore your options and conduct your sessions in the comfort of your own home or wherever you feel is best for you. After you download the app, you'll get started by filling out a questionnaire and get matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. And if that's not feeling right, you can easily switch to a different therapist at any time at no extra cost. They carefully make sure the therapists on the platform are well qualified and their customer support team is there to help you with any questions. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. We at Your Next Favorite Band believe in breaking the stigma around mental health, and going to therapy is a sign of strength, not weakness. And with BetterHelp, it's easier than ever to take that first step towards feeling better. Click the link here or go to betterhelp.com/nextfaveband and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy. That's betterhelp.com/nextfaveband. It's okay to ask for help. Contact BetterHelp today. So now it's time to bring on some music from our guest today, Barney Cortez. We're going to kick things off here with a phenomenal track, and it's just what I love about Barney Cortez music. It just grabs you from the very first note, the very first strum. So take a listen to "Nowhere to Hide" by Barney Cortez.
it's clear that you've got the potion, and I see the souls that run around like sheep, chickens with no heads or eyes to see.
Barney Cortez is a songwriter-producer hailing from Philadelphia, along with Nick Bockrath of Cage the Elephant. He founded the band Nico's Gun and was their sole singer-songwriter. 2018 found him breaking out to make his own EP, Pretty Thin, which introduced his unique brand of pop rock sensibilities. After a steady release of 4 EPs, a tour of Europe, and a string of singles, he released his debut album, Hullabaloo, on La Reserve Records. The song Shit River with Raylan Baxter made its way onto Spotify's Fresh Folk playlist, amongst others. In 2025 finds Barney gearing up for the release of his second LP, Earth Station, which is mixed by Jeff Lucci of Mo Lauda and The Humble. His most cohesive work to date, Earth Station shines a light on Cortez's clever mix of psych rock, sonic experimentation, heartfelt, honest storytelling. Cortez has been featured on outlets such as NPR, Ear Milk, and No Depression, and my own 25 O'Clock podcast.
That's correct. So we'll bring the music back up here, and then we'll bring Barney on the show. Welcome to the show, Barney Cortez.
What up? Thanks for having me.
So am I right? Are you sitting in the exact church that this video is being shot in?
Yep.
That's so fun.
Well, no, not the same. It's not the same exact spot. It's like it's right in front of me, actually.
Got it.
But I'm in the same room. Yeah.
That's so fun. And this is basically like space that you use for recording, obviously videos, but also some of the music that you're putting out.
Yeah, I actually don't really record much out here. I record in the, on the other side of that wall. That's where all our stuff is. But my buddies that I share the studio with, he's in this band Thanophobe. He's like mixing, and I just didn't want to do this at home, pretty much.
Right. No,
because my house doesn't look cool like that. No,
that's awesome.
No, honestly, I wanted to get out of the house anyway. So
no, it's beautiful. And then, what can you tell us about this track and this? So I love this is like not a lot of recorded music is going into like a solo, and like a nice rap to a track. Like I love this though. This is definitely right up my alley.
Yeah, this is this song. This is one of the longer songs. Most of the songs are kind of around 3 minutes. This one's like almost like 4 minutes because I kind of jam out. It actually fades. It actually goes kind of long originally, but I didn't want to make it too long. But
I love it.
But yeah, like I will eventually. I do want to put out songs that just more music based, that just like no care about like length or anything like that, just that keep changing and morphing. And I don't know, I think for a long time I was like trying to write like I don't know what I was just trying to keep things short because like I have like a short attention span and I like songs that are shorter, but I also listen to like Miles Davis live records where like it'll be like 3 songs on the record. And each one is like 18 minutes long. And well, I was just listening to the one of my favorite songs recently is this Bob Dylan Murder Most Foul. It's like 17 minutes long. It's on one of his last records. Came out, it's a couple years old now, but it's crazy because it's like he's one of those dudes that could put out a song that long and keep you I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that couldn't handle 17 minutes of Bob Dylan.
But he's not making that record for them.
No, he never has, man. That's why who he is,
That's exactly right. Yeah.
He has something to say. Like That's what's so fucking cool about him. It's a song about, if you haven't heard it, it's a song about the JFK,
Yeah.
the killing of JFK. And Murder Most Foul is a Shakespeare term.
It's Lear, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and then he like the song, like it's just really interesting. It talks about talks all about the time period, but it becomes about all these other things, because he basically starts to name drop throughout the song, like every song that he loves and listens to. So he like names drop. So if you like listen to the tune, there's actually a playlist of all the songs that he mentions in the song, and it's like, he mentions like like over probably like 100 like songs like from that era, and it's just so cool, man, because he's basically talking about like this music, like this is the music that I played after this tragedy happened, and it's like about like the healing power of music. I think that's really beautiful. You know what I mean? Like,
Certainly is.
it's like he's like a mystic, man. Like he's
Totally
like other shit. He's talking about. I could talk about. I'm a huge like Bob Dylan fan, man.
Let's actually stick there for a second, because one, you look like him. Like there were so many people who I was like recommending that they come down to see your set at Musikfest, and every single one of them would lean over to me and be like, "He looks just like Bob Dylan."
I know, yeah,
It's unbelievable.
I've gotten that a lot.
And then, but the other thing too was it was his. If I understand it right, it was like a stripped down acoustic version of his music that he played that you heard at like the age of 12 that really inspired you to want to become a musician.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I was like big into the first music that really hit me heavy was like early blues. I had a dad who was a guitar player and a music guy, so he was like, he grew up playing in bands and stuff, and I have other family members that like my mom was a writer. My mom more was an artist but not a musician, but my dad, like, so he had a record collection and all that stuff. So like I was lucky enough to like be able to just get into some, and I gravitated towards like just like old, and just I don't know why, I gravitated toward, and then so because I think probably because that was like easy to play on guitar at first. Like I needed something to play, so like I started playing that, and then I got into like
Three chords and the truth,
the roots blues, and then I got into like the early Dylan, because he was like very influenced by that, and then I kind of like followed his thing from when his first record, where he does a lot of covers, and then when he shifts into like becoming like a topical songwriter, and he took a lot of those songs, like he actually would steal the melodies from like old folk songs, and then he would just put his own words to it, but he did it in his own way. It didn't sound like the originals. So yeah, that was definitely the first thing that hit me super hard. And then I always come back to that, but I mean, I'm just a music fan, man. Like at the end of the day, like sometimes I think I'm more of a fan of music and a user of music, like.
But on that point there, so you're growing up, you get a guitar. I think it was like a used acoustic guitar to try and emulate Bob Dylan and some of these other sounds. And then where are you at that point? Are you in Philly at that point, or are you somewhere else?
Yeah, I was in like the first, where was I at? I was at the first house that I lived in with my dad. I had a room. I actually had a bathroom in my room.
Oh, nice.
That was in. So I'd play in the bathroom because the acoustics were really cool. But yeah, that was in Philly. That was right around like the Italian Market, which is where I grew up. Like Italian Market section, like right off of like Washington Avenue, that area.
Sure.
So I grew up around there, and I guess that really doesn't have much to do with like that area. It's not the type of area that influence you musically, but yeah, I am from that area. Well, I love being
Yeah.
from the city. That's for sure. That definitely shaped me who I am. But um, yeah, I was in Philly. I was like raised in that area there, that little pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
such an interesting part of the city too.
mm,
And especially back when you were younger, it was. I mean, I neighborhoods change and things change and all that, but like Italian market, like in the '90s, was into the early aughts, was an incredibly diverse place to
oh yeah,
grow up. You get
big time,
a little bit of everybody. There's the old heads,
big,
like the Italian immigrants, and then you've got the Latinos and a lot of the newer Asian immigrants as well. It's like I think it's one of the most interesting parts of this city. I think calling it the Italian market alone sort of short sells it. There's so
Sure.
much more going
Yeah.
on. It was such a diverse area to grow up in. It had to have definitely formed you as a young person.
yeah, it did. Yeah, it was because it was like super diverse for for the time, and I feel like I lucked out because I didn't know a lot of kids. I would meet kids that were from the burbs or whatever, and they seemed to all like kind of act the same way and kind of had, they kind of like grew up with the same stuff, and I grew up getting to meet so many different kinds of people, and just just in that area at the time in the '90s was like pretty grimy, and it was like cheap to live there,
Yeah.
and the characters that you would meet and the kind of stuff that you were able to do, it was like it was a cool time to grow up, and it was like you just got to be cool with people. It was an Italian neighborhood, but there was like big Vietnamese population. There was like I mean, yeah, there was like everything, man. It was like all types of kids. I went to a school where it was like all mixed up, and so it was good. I think that was a great place for me to grow up because when I travel now and I go throughout the world, I'm really interested in people and like in different things, and I always want to like learn more about um, anything outside of my own world as just being like an American guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because most Americans, they kind of, if you're in a hub city, I feel like you get an advantage because you can just, if you're in like New York, obviously LA, Philly, Chicago, any of those kind of places, it's a melting pot. You get a little bit of a cultural advantage as opposed to like, people that have to grow up out in the
Sure.
Midwest where it's just one thing. And
Mm-hmm.
even parts of Pennsylvania, man, it's the same way. It's just
Yeah.
Yes.
cookie cutter. Like I was always grateful that, I mean, there's things about the city I didn't like, but you get claustrophobic after a while, and it just.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it was a gift for sure.
Yeah.
Gift. I'm glad.
Yeah. And so are you navigating? So obviously you're navigating music, but are you? These are like mid-teens, heading into high school, forming bands. Like, tell us about that time frame, and was there like maybe a mentor along the way or a moment that kind of like set you down that?
Yeah, so I got to go to the performing arts high school in Philly, which was cool, and they give you a couple periods where you can just like practice your instrument and play, which was cool, and you get to study music, and at the same time I had a guitar teacher that was really good. This guy named Kevin Hansen who played
Kevin.
called Huffamoose. They
Oh
were
yeah.
a rock band.
Yep.
But he was an incredible guitar player. He showed me like I learned a lot on my own. Where I would just listen to albums and just I had a pretty good ear early on, but he kind of helped me like take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he got me really serious, and then from an early stage, I got like really serious into it. So by the time I got into high school, I was playing in like the jazz bands and all that stuff. And
Right.
I just wanted to like learn it all. Basically, I wanted to kind of. I just loved like music. I wanted to learn it all. And then around that time too, I had like a 4-track cassette recorder. So that was like my first kind of like foray into recording. A friend
Sure.
of mine lent me his 4-track. So I guess I wrote my first song around maybe like I wasn't that young. I was like 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
And but I would actually cover songs that I liked too, like and record them just to kind of like figure out how to make them work like on a full track. So I do that too, which it was just fun for me, man. Just sit in a room. That's still what I really love to do is just like tinker with shit,
Yeah.
and like a big part about so a lot of musicians I feel like are trying to balance the two things, like they're just wanting to like be like studio rats and then actually like going out and connecting with people and playing live, you're trying to balance those two things. But yeah, so yeah, I had a couple mentors, like I said, my dad played, and I had a neighbor, this guy named Don Lee Van Winkle, who he passed away a couple years ago, but he was in a band called The American Dream. They were like a legendary like Philly band. They were produced by Todd Rundgren.
Oh, fun.
Apparently they were like one of Todd Rundgren's first bands that he produced. Like he was like really young and he like discovered these. So these guys were like a group. I think they were from like Tacony, the Tacony section, which is North Philly. And they were really good. They were like kind of like Moby Grape, and like Moby Grape mixed with like a little bit of Crosby, or a little bit of like Crosby, Stills, Nash. Like it's very 60s like psychedelic rock. And so he was in that band like back in the late 60s at that era. So he was my neighbor, and he played guitar too. So when he saw that I had a guitar, he basically became like a second father to me.
Wow.
Like I would be over his place all the time, playing music, just jamming. He was he was at that point he was just kind of doing that band had been long gone, but at that point he was just like surviving as a working musician, which means playing like weddings and all that kind of shit. So, but he still loved playing music, and he was putting out his own music too. And he was like big. Him and his wife were like big into like they were like kind of big into like folk music. So they kind of opened, because I had one side of me that was big into like blues and heavier rock, like psychedelic rock and Jimi Hendrix and stuff. But then I think they were the people that kind of got me into the more storytelling of songwriting too, which I still love, and I still want to put out more music like that too. I have a whole album actually of that kind of stuff too that I'm gonna put out. I just need to like finish mixing it.
That's fun.
But yeah, just more like stripped down, kind of like folkier stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so growing up around that, all those kind of people, it was definitely influential. And then I got to, and then I started jamming with people. I would go to open mics, that kind of stuff. I didn't really play. My friends were all in this thing called the Rock School, Paul Green Rock School, which now he's getting all this, like, apparently he was like treated them like crap, which I didn't. He was like a terrible human apparently, which I didn't know anything about. But they were all in this, like all my friends in the city were in this Paul Green School of Rock. So there was this funny like resurgence going on where it was like all these like high school kids that I was friends with were all like into, Zappa and Captain Beefheart and like just 70s rock and psychedelic rock, 80s stuff, just guitar based music. And they put their, so all my friends I had a lot of friends that were in that. I wasn't in it. Like it was almost like a cult. It was weird. It was which it actually turned out to kind of be that actually.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was cool at the time. Cause that was the first time I started to see like kids my age were, into like retro kind of music still, and not just because a lot of the kids in my school were listening to, in the city it's like people are listening to what's on the radio, like R&B, hip hop, mainstream pop shit.
A lot of good Philly band references in there, Dan. I'm figuring
Yeah.
you're chomping at the bit to dive in on
Well,
that.
I knew who Don was because
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I ever met him, but he guys like Davis Sikkinen and people of that era of
Yeah.
like the 1980 South Street era speak very highly of Don.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting that you really got the gamut of not even just like generations of Philly music going from Don to Kevin, two
Right.
two very different kinds of musicians and from two very different periods of music, but also two very vital people when you
Sure.
want to talk about Philadelphia's music. It sounds like you were just like you couldn't have picked it any better, and that's the thing about growing up is that you don't get to pick it. It just
No.
whatever's in front of you, that's what you take in.
Yeah, it's true.
And
It
you
really is
were
true.
fortunate enough to just be in a place and time where there were artists around and they were teaching and they were and they were willing to show a young kid. Because when you get older, I mean, this, and I can definitely speak to it as being older. When you find younger people who are even remotely interested in the shit that you're interested in, you're just like, ooh, come over here. Let me show you some stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm like super lucky in that sense that I got to meet some awesome. You attract. I guess you just attract like if you when you focus on something and are interested in something enough, you'll eventually attract the right kind of people in your life.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like
Yeah.
it's I'm going for round 2 of that. I'm looking for that as an adult now.
Well, even
Yeah,
on that point, where does
it
the
never
connection
stops.
with right? Where does the connection with Nick Bockrath form, and then forming Nico's Gun?
Oh, he's from Westchester, PA.
Mhm.
So he grew up in Westchester, and he lived in the city, and we went to UArts. I met him at University of the Arts, which was it's like an art school. It was
Right.
like right in downtown Philly. So he came here to go to school, and we met like when we were like pretty much in the first. We met pretty early on. I think he came up to me because he was also a guitar player, and he came up to me because we ended up doing this. He wanted to, he kind of wanted to pick my brain about guitar and stuff, and so we just kind of became buddies. And I noticed with him early on that he was just like extremely driven and extremely focused, and I mean, like he's like tonight he's literally opening for Oasis right now. You know what I mean? Like he's in because the band he's in is they've been doing the American shows in Oasis.
Wow.
And from the moment I met him, he's been like just like super. He's got like he hones in on what he needs, and what he wants. So he kind of came up to me and was like, okay, you got this thing I'm interested in, and and he kind of gleaned his which is nothing against him, it was like
Sure. Right.
that's just the type of dude he is.
Right.
And so he was like a fish head. He was also in the jam scene. I mean, Nick's into all types of shit, obviously. I mean, Cage is like a alt rock band, or
Right.
they're not. I have nothing to do with the jam scene, but the Nick I knew was like with the Wooks and the Heady, like he had this band called Bodega, and I would just hang with them. So I started playing in Bodega, even though I didn't know jack shit about jam bands. Like I would just roll around in the van with them, and we would just get high as shit and just go. There was no set list or anything. We would roll up and
Just rip guitars.
just rip like 2-hour sets.
And only have like 2-3 songs.
Yeah, pretty much. Like they did have a couple. They did have like a CD that they would sell, and they were the
they had a
first ones I
record.
really saw doing it. They had like the CD box of CDs, box of shirts. They were doing the thing.
I remember them from back in the day, and I remember seeing Nico's Gun. I think you and I talked about this when I interviewed you a few years ago, where I was just always so impressed with Nico's that you guys, because I'm a jam guy as well, or I'm probably not unlike Nick in that like I'll take it all in.
Yeah.
but I remember seeing and hearing Nico's Gun when you guys were pretty active playing, and thinking like they figured it out. I was like, it's incredibly heady, incredibly sophisticated musicality right here. You guys were all very, very good players and knew what to do. You could definitely tell you were steeped in fusion jazz and, you know, all the psychedelic stuff and prog rock and all that. But you had that dance pop hook, like you had that
there was
floor on
such
the
a
floor.
dancey aspect.
And
to
I was
that
just
music,
like,
yeah.
I remember
Oh, yeah,
turning to
definitely.
someone that I was seeing you. I was like, I think they figured it out. It's like you can feed the world this pretty heady, sophisticated,
Yeah.
you know, nerd rock. But if they can move, then like you're
Totally.
done. You've
Everyone's
sold
into
them.
it.
Yeah. I appreciate. No, thank you. That's nice.
Yeah, I was going to
we
make
were
sure
definitely-
that we mention that the aspect of the or like the sonic quality of the music was dancier than you know the you know what we heard off the top basically.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were trying to make like party kind of music at that point, and you know, and at the time it was like that band started in like 2011, so, or 2012, something like that. So at the time it was like that era was like MGMT and
Sure.
a lot of like there was a lot of like LCD Sound System, all those bands that like very there was that whole like disco like punk resurgence, which
Sure.
kind of started in like the new wave scene, but it kind of like had a resurgence with bands like what was that band? There was this one band that was really Rapture. Do you remember?
Yeah. Bands like Foster the People and Passion
Foster the
Pit.
People. Yeah, Passion Pit. Yeah, exactly. All that stuff. So we were, you know, we were influenced by all that. We were trying to do our own like MGMT kind of. There's a song that's like completely rips off like a few of those songs. Like I still do it. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's part of the
Just
part of the
everything-
game.
Because when you end up doing it, it ends up sounding different anyway. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there another either name to that band or another band that you did with Nick that was called the Rich Mystics?
Yeah. That was like we only played. I think we didn't play much. We did a couple shows. That was basically. I would at that period. I mean, all I did was music all the time. Like
Right.
we would do the Nico's Gun thing, and then we all lived in this loft space together. So our rent was like, I think we had like 7 dudes living in this loft.
Mm-hmm.
So we were paying like $150 each or something like that. So I didn't have a
Nice.
job. Like I could just scrape together the money. And I had a little side, and I had a bedroom, and I had this like little side room that I had like this little digital recorder that had like the faders on it. I love this thing. It ended up breaking, but I would just go. I would make demos on that all the time, and a lot of it didn't fit with Nico's Gun. It was like more. It was like very like Brian Jonestown Massacre kind
Sure.
of vibes, or I was really into like T-Rex, and it was like a mix of like T-Rex and Brian Jonestown and some Beck. Basically the same shit I'm still doing. I'm still doing it too.
I was about to say, I was like, that sounds like the Barney I know now.
Yeah, it's the same thing, man. I've been on this trip for a while, man, and it's.
And you were saying that too, like before we came into the recording here. The music that you've been putting out is what's going to be coming out on this forthcoming album. So as we pivot now to you now kind of going solo, which is like 2019, right before the pandemic type stuff.
Yeah.
You start to build towards Hullabaloo, but like you're somewhat of a understanding the game, like the unfortunate part about like you have all this music, you want to put it out, but you kind of have to release it in a certain way now with streaming and with whatnot. But tell us about that, like how you start to branch off on your own, you become like a solo artist, and then kind of throwing this music out there for people to start to enjoy.
So, well, I'll also say that like Nico's Gun, Nick joined KG Elephant. So I like tried to rebrand the band, and he and the rest of the band moved out to LA, and I had a good friend out there who kind of could put us up for a while until we could get on our feet. So we tried to do the whole thing out there. And but it was at that point. Oh, and then Harry, my good buddy Harry Zelnick, who was also one of the founders of the band, he was a big part of the group. I mean, he would produce all of it with us. So we all but he was like the main guy that would he would say, this is cool, this isn't cool, do this, here's the beat. And he was the drummer in the band too. So he's one of my best friends. And but so he was like, he ended up going to rehab, and he was like all strung out, and then Nick joined KG Elephant. So it was like half the band. So I kind of brought in two of my other buddies, kind of reformed the band, moved out to LA. We tried to keep it going, and then I realized that wasn't going to work. So I formed a new band called The Rituals, and we made a cool. It's still online. We made a cool record, but like it was just so hard to exist out there, man. It was like I never had any money. We had a couple managers, and but it was just like, I think I was beating a dead horse at that point. I was trying to bring something back to life that had died, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Like it was like we had our little window of awesomeness for a while, where it was just like everything was cool. It was very innocent, and then it got like really dark and just didn't work out. And we had a lot of chances, and funny enough, like Nick was the one that he was the guy that was like managed to keep it all together too. And it took me a long time to realize that, like, you know, how much work you had. I was just getting fucked up and making music. I didn't realize like there's all this other shit involved, you know, like I was a kid, man. I just didn't know any better. I was very like green about that stuff. And Nick was always like way more mature, you know? So I think he just saw, you know, he went and was just like, I'm going to go do this other thing. He had an opportunity and took it. So like I said, I feel like we were like, I was trying to like beat a dead horse, and it just didn't, you know, that ended up not working out. And so I kind of had a like whole everything kind of fell apart, man, to be honest with you. Like while I was out there, I basically got to the point where I had like nothing, you know. I had no money, I had no support, I had no girlfriend, no nothing, man. You know, like I lost, you know, I had a bunch of jobs. I was working at a country club, and then I lost that job. And so at a certain point, I just was like, this ain't working, man, you know? So I came back, I begged my mom for like $250. She got me a flight back. She was still living in the city at the time. And I came back and I moved in with her, and I started, I didn't even have anything at that point, man. I had I had just one guitar. I had no recording gear, no laptop anymore. I had no interface, no pedal, nothing, dude. Like I had like, so I like the first bit of money that I made, cause I had to get sober. Like I had, that's part of my story, is having to get clean and all that stuff. And not something that like, I'll mention it in passing. I don't like to get too deep into it, but that is part of my story, is like, that was something that was holding me back for a long time. So then I had to address that, and then I got super focused again, and then I started working. And so my first like bit of money that I made was I bought like an acoustic guitar at the pawn shop, and I had an acoustic. And then Harry, he was clean too. He got sober before me.
Sure.
So he gave me his old, and he was making music again. So he gave me his old laptop, and it was funny, man. It was this whole full circle thing where I was back where we started, and it was humbling, man. It was hard. It was fucking hard, dude. Because you know, like I had to I had to do a restart, you know what I mean? But like the thing is that I have so many blessings that like um it would be just it would just be so selfish to just be like, fuck this, man, I can't,
Right.
I don't want to, this is too much work now, I'm just gonna leave this in the past. And I have too many blessings, so it's like I could get the ball rolling again pretty quickly. So I started making music again, like in my mom's basement, you know what I mean, and building up my gear and stuff. And now I'm in this fucking amazing studio with two of my best friends.
Right.
And you know, and like you're never where you want to be, man. That's the thing. Like you're always like once you get to you level up a little bit, and then like you're at this level, and also there's so much illusion involved. Like
Sure.
because when you're in the art world, you're always you're always seeing examples of like what you want, you know what I mean? And sometimes you might step into that world for a second, and then it's like not like you think it is, you know what I mean? There's so many illusion involved, you know, like when I played like at Red Rocks. Well, Nico's Gun played Red Rocks. We got to play it fucking, which was crazy, like because no one knew the hell we were there. But I got to play there again with Rayland to like a sold out audience. So it's like 10,000 people, and it's like so you know most people would be like, that's amazing, you know, like how did it feel? And it's like it didn't feel that different from playing at like the local bar on the corner. Like you're just playing music, man. You're just trying to
Right.
It's just more people, like more people out there, you know. And so yeah, it was eventually I linked up with this guy Rick Friedrich, and I did that first album. He's an awesome engineer. He worked with the Roots, actually. He was more in the hip hop world, but like I brought him these like rock songs and kind of poppy rock songs, and
Sure.
he was a fan. So he just like I ended up just being at his studio all the time and making the first songs that I did there. And Harry was involved in some of them. Like Harry plays drums on Drink Hard. Harry plays drums on some kind of Exit, which is the first song on that EP. He plays songs on this Bouncing Off the Sky. Yeah, he would come in and out, you know what I mean? He doesn't even own a drum kit, so I would always be like, "Hey, come over and just get your drumsticks and play this song." You know,
it's an admirable journey, and thank you so much for sharing all the different aspects of it. Because I know some of it is obviously probably hard, you know, or dark or what have you. I guess I just wanted to see if you might spend just a moment talking about the song "Drink Hard," because it's somewhat about that element of anyone's life could get to that point and how difficult it is. So I don't know if you want to speak to that. We did share that song when we did the retrospective. We did the live version you played at Musikfest. We played a little bit of that, so people can check it out either on your streaming services or there. But if you don't mind, maybe speak to that song and kind of maybe the therapeutic value it was for you to kind of get that down on paper.
Yeah, that was a tune I wrote really fast. I remember I had watched what was it? I watched a documentary about some guy. I watched a doc. A lot of times you'll see like a show or a movie, and it'll give you an idea for something.
Sure.
But I had seen this. Video of this guy who like was like a farmer out. He lived out in the country, and he was just like drinking himself to death. Like he would basically like booze so hard that he'd like end up in his barn, like on his back, just like chugging. Like he was like hardcore, you know. And he would talk about how he would just. So I started to that guy. I started to picture like. So it was kind of based off of that guy. I mean, it was obviously personal. Like, I mean, I was the same way, but I would. Because the lyrics I say like I'm working like a hound, fell into this somehow. Jesus, and then I say like Jesus doesn't pay the bills. I'm gonna die here. Like I was thinking about that guy, like and how the kids. I don't. You know, it's weird, man. I don't even so many songs, like when you actually go back, like there's something divine about it. Because like
Yeah.
I don't know where those. It sounds pretentious to say, but like a lot of the best, I should say, the best songs, like things just kind of pop into your head, and you'll be like, I don't know what the hell that is, like where that even came from. It's like some weird distant memory, or maybe past life
Sure.
memory or something, you know.
No, it comes up a lot on the show where people are just like, I was just, basically struck with this thing, whether it was watching a certain element happen, or someone had it happen when they went for like a medical procedure, and while they were laying there, this whole like inspiration came to them that they were like, I want to make sure I don't forget this. It's just it can happen like anywhere, but you're right. It's always talked about as being very divine.
Yeah. It happens in the most mundane places too, like you and I are both songwriters, and like I've written things that later I look at and I'm just like, that was just me in a room, and it was like a Wednesday. Like an idea came into my head. Yeah. Sometimes from something I read, or, a film I saw, or just something I was thinking about. And like, I could tell you where I was, and I could tell you, oh, it was an afternoon or it was an evening, but like, that's about all the information I can give you about how the song was written,
Yeah, it's hard to. You also, like, in the middle of it, as you know, Dan, you kind of you're doing something right when you start to lose yourself, and you lose sense of track of time, So if like you're working at something and then you look at the clock and like an hour just flew by.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're getting carried along by something else, not just you're finally. That's probably why you do it. I mean, I'm trying to, half the time I'm just trying to get the hell out of my own head, get out of my own mind, get the hell out of my own way. It really is what it is.
It's the click too, right? Like I've equated, there's all kinds of metaphors you can use, but I've equated it sometimes to like the click of a chain into a wheel, where suddenly like, I mean, like to do think about putting a chain back on a bicycle. Totally. There's always that weird thing where you're trying. It's like, no, it's not quite it. That's not quite it. And once like two connect, and they're just like, we're off. Like,
exactly.
And I joke. It's sometimes I was like, you'll chase that like a drug high for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Like,
Big
just.
time.
Except it's a way more wholesome way to feel a bit of a rush.
And that click that you're talking about is usually like. It's a feeling that it's a genuine feeling that you're looking for, that when you play it or you hear it, like when it hits you, you're like, it piques your interest, and you're like, it makes you feel like it's got to be real, otherwise
Totally.
you can't. I mean, I've written plenty of songs that I wasn't feeling. And there's something I could go into another conversation about that too, where like when you force shit, sometimes you can put together a pretty cool tune that people actually really dig, and you personally hated writing it, don't like it. And so there's a weird other element too that's involved sometimes, because I've done a lot of stuff where I like try to write a song every day, exercises to just keep the pen sharp, and a lot of times, like when anytime I do that, I get to a point where I like really do not want to do it, so I'll just go through the motions to get it done, so that I'll be like, okay, I got one in the bag today. But sometimes it ends up being you end up doing something that's like pretty cool, or like writing a way I'll get out of like a lot of like a funk is writing joke songs.
Sure.
So I have like whole albums of like joke songs that are just like really just
I love that the catalog is like, we've got an acoustic folk album, we've got a comedic album, we've got Barney Cortez closet is full of future releases.
I have some absurd songs, man. Like I mean, they're just I'm probably the only one that will find them funny. Me and a couple of my friends, but just stuff that. But the thing is that with the joke songs, like God's Punching Bag, this song that's going to be on my album, that was a joke song. That I wrote 3 joke songs in a row that day, all of joke, and I wrote them like real fast. I was like, this is so stupid, and I'm going to write the most. I'm just going to write a really funny negative, dark, like verses, and so I wrote that really quick, and I played it for Harry, and because I'll be playing in my demos. We were in the car. He was like, "That's a good song, man. You should put that song out." I was like, "Really?" And then I listened to it again, and I was like, "Yeah, it actually is kind of good. It's it doesn't feel forced or anything."
Yeah.
And
You had-
a lot of people like that. Out of the songs, they like that one the most. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned you might be able to play that one today. Do you want to take this moment to play that?
sure, yeah.
Let's capture that click
Do it.
that just happened right there and have you play it.
Hell yeah! All right, let me grab this guitar.
Sure. And what we'll do is Dan and I will come off screen and give you full center stage.
All right,
And then anything else you want to share about it, and then let her rip.
all right. Gonna get my. Shut the mailman, don't want no more news. He's staking me out, he's gonna get me soon. Eating cat food straight from a can. He's so vicious, he's a mean old man. He looks like a goblin, he walks in my room. I tried to be nice, but he's just so rude. He keeps dead cats inside of the fridge. If it gets worse, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. He's a mean old man, meaner than my dad. Hopped up on speed in a trucker's hat, beating all my dreams with a baseball bat. Just call me God's punching bag. He throws my letters right into the trash. I left a message, but it don't get back. Like a rodent run up in a tree, he wants to exterminate me. He's a mean old man, meaner than my dad. Hopped up on speed in a trucker's hat, beating all my dreams with a baseball bat. Just call me God's punching bag. He's a mean old man, meaner than my dad. Hopped up on speed in a trucker's hat, beating all my dreams with a baseball bat. Just call me, yeah. Just call me God's punching bag.
That kicked ass.
Great stuff, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I can see where that could come, starting from a comedic thing, but that settled in really beautifully.
Thanks.
Yeah, sometimes when you go to exaggerate and you kind of bring it back into the middle, I think that's maybe like what Harry heard in the song. I can often think of, I think I know which part of the song Harry maybe heard, where he's like, "Oh no, I think you're onto something there."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think he liked I think he liked the simplicity of it, because the verses are just two chords, which I have a tendency to kind of I like to kind of sometimes do too much, just because I have like ADD. But
you know a lot of chords, so it's let's use them.
Melody but that was like mad simple, Velvet Underground simple, just one, just jamming on root.
Totally.
Yeah.
and then the chorus is like, just kind of like that Beatlesy vibe.
Yeah, that major dissension. Yeah.
Yeah. And also too, I took a lot of this stuff from list. I'm a big like Beck fan.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, which he took, and Kinks fan. So it's like, and Beck probably took all that stuff from like the Britpop stuff. But when you're playing, you do this kind of stuff. This like the Nirvana kind of like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Those little half step things in there that yeah.
I love those kind of sounds and just doing weird, kind of mixing, kind of making it off just enough so it's still like melodic and not too like weird, but you kind of push it a little bit, because I can't stand if a song is like just too like basic, it's just not me. It's like I can't. That's why it's hard for me to get into a lot of like pop, like I don't know. It's hard to. Like if a band just keeps it like too like straight ahead, after a while it's hard for me to. It doesn't after a while my ear just gets dull to my ear.
Sure.
It's like someone read a chord book and read the rules, which you and I both have done at various points in our playing, and those rules are very important. But
breaking them is also important.
My favorite thing in it, like to get like super music nerdy, is just like you got a D major and then you throw a B flat major in there, and I'm just like, ooh, okay, now we're we're playing. Like to me, I call that that's Guided by Voices does that a lot, and like he'll just have these turns of chord, and Pollard would not be considered a heavyweight musician, but like he's got these melodic turns, which again comes from the Kinks. And like that.
I'm a huge I love Guided by Voices, man. Huge fan.
I could. It's weird. It's such a cliche for like someone my age looking like I do to like be such a GBV guy.
Well, they've become like a dad. They've become like dad rock or something.
Well, yeah. It's but like I don't know that. I love those turns of phrase. I love those like those little musical turns. The Beatles did it all the time because they didn't know. They didn't know that you weren't supposed to go from G major to F sharp major in like Sexy Sadie. They didn't know that. And I'm sure George Martin is sitting there and be like, boys, that sounds a little odd. And they're just like, oh, well, we quite like it.
It's going to work.
Well, I think they took a lot of that shit too from like Tin Pan Alley too.
Yeah.
They did study their like they would do, like Lennon would do stuff too, where say he's in C, he'd be like which is totally weird to go C major is the root and go down B.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's some weird. That like people don't normally do that, but they would do it all. Lennon would do it all the time, and that's actually a Frank Black. The Pixies did it too, because that's a Frank Black song. It's called Sir Rockabye.
Yeah.
You got a fine face, you don't show it, you're showing it too. Even from deep outer space.
Yeah.
Got something for you. He took that where it's just that tension, you know what I mean? It's awesome.
And you can write some interesting vocal melodies on that too. I absolutely agree with you. Like I'll be listening to a song and like I'm not going to name names on artists because they're all big and no one cares what I think about them. But like, I'll listen and I'll just be like, okay, but that's safe. That was a safe move right there. Sure. So anytime I do in pop music, hear a move and like you'll hear it. Like I think in the classic era of like 90s pop, you still hear like there's some moves in like Mariah Carey songs where I'm just like, ooh, like certain modulations. Like I still think that like emphasizing the 6 in like All I Want for Christmas Is You is like, I'm like, that's such a baller move. Like they resolve on these points of the scale where you're just like, you quote unquote shouldn't do that. There's tension. It feels unfinished. But like you listen to the song, you're just like, you cannot argue with the finished product.
Well, you can hear you can hear when whoever's behind the production or the band or whatever, you can hear when they're like passionate musicians, you know what I mean? Because they're like searching, they're looking for that like that they're not content with just being like, okay, let's just play the song down like it is. You know, they're looking for that kind of like that different. That's why there's a lot of great. That's why I fuck with a lot of like really cool like R&B stuff too, or like D'Angelo, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because he, you know, he's quirky with it, and he does intricate. He adds intricateness, and he's a real artist because he's like looking for things to keep. You know, you could tell that he's like he's not happy with just like doing the basics. You know,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
looking for something to keep him interested in it. You
Yeah.
know, that's all. That's all you're trying to do, really.
And for a guy like him, or you think of like even like or like Raphael Sadiq or anything like that,
Oh yeah,
guys who are everyone thinks it's like, oh, they're so smooth, they're so, but like if you listen to D'Angelo, it's like, no, there's some gnarliness even
Oh,
in
yeah.
like even
He's
in the
heavy.
even in like the Brown Sugar era where it is very smooth.
Oh yeah.
And it's not till like later that third album he puts out where you're just like, oh, okay, he's like really letting his freak flag fly on this
Oh yeah,
record.
yeah.
Because at that point he's like, what have I got
That
to
album
prove?
is all. That
Yeah.
last album, that
Black
third album
Messiah,
you're talking
you
about
just
is
I
awesome.
remember the first time I heard it, I was just like, this is like Sly. This is a there's a riot going on. Except
Totally, his version.
through-
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, you could tell too that album was like the album that he probably really wanted to make all along. Because
Sure.
when
Yeah.
he's younger, you know, people are like probably like, all right, man, we need the single, and we got to make the pop song.
Right,
And
right.
It's like
at
he
that
was
point,
just like he's like a dark dude, man. You know, he was,
Yeah.
he was,
Yeah.
and he's probably into like, I mean, the guy was like, D'Angelo was fucked up for a long time too. He was like he had to get clean and sober too. Like I think after he got famous, he basically said like he did not like the attention that he got. He was not into it because he's, you know, he's probably an introvert. You know,
Yeah.
he's probably just a guy that wants to just be by himself.
Yeah,
He
an
became a
artist.
sex symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and he probably was just like, and that, well, and, oh, what it was is the pressure of the you know, he had to like keep it like the 6-pack going and stuff. So he
Yeah.
just said, "Fuck it," he let it all go, and he just
Take
got in
that.
the room and started drinking, and you know, so he had to come full circle again.
Yeah.
And that's why I love that record, because it's like it's a little more, it's way more churchy and like spiritual too, which I love. You know, anything that's like searching.
Yeah.
On the search, you know, is what that's the kind of stuff I gravitate towards, you know.
Definitely.
More.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, I still am like, you know, I make secular music, but I love like gospel music. And
Sure.
you know, and some of the, like, speaking of Dylan, some of my favorite like Dylan songs could almost be, he's like cosplaying as like a gospel.
Sure. Yeah.
artist.
I know what you
You
mean.
know what I mean? Which is like, and I think that he just does that as a default to be safe, you know. But I think that in his mind, he probably really is like, I'm a gospel singer right now.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And on this vibe, I've seen you post on social media and just kind of like almost a call out to the musicians to stop making every day sound like it's a great day or rosy or whatever, and like be genuine and real. That like if you're in a
oh yeah,
like to just acknowledge the fact that maybe today's a shitty day or something like that. Like I think it's really great what you're doing is kind of like, let's normalize the fact that not every day is going to be the rosiest day in the world.
yeah. That was I haven't posted much more of that kind of stuff since then, but you know, I guess I get afraid of being like turning into too preachy or something, and
You don't want to be the hot take guy, you know?
yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
but at that
It
point,
didn't
I
come
was,
across that way for me. To me, it just sounded like it was, you know, because people on social media tend to make it as positive it possibly can be and how awesome everything is. And look at how great this day was or this trip or how awesome my fucking latte looks. Like, it's like maybe sometimes you can say, you know what, today's kind of shitty. You know, it's like, it's
Yeah.
okay to say that. That's more the way it came across for me was like, you know, you know, you don't always have to be posting what would obviously be a fraudulent representation of how you're feeling.
Yeah, I guess. No, you're right. I was just speaking on. I was speaking on the fact that everything is so curated now, and like
Yes.
light,
Yeah.
and there is no. It's a faux pas basically to like, if you're a machine and you're a band that's creating this thing, it's very impersonal. I mean, you're just posting the highlights. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
we're playing this show and we're doing this. I mean, in the indie world, it's becoming way more like common to be like, yeah, I had a mental breakdown and like
Yep.
I had to step out of the business or whatever. But
Yep.
even so, it's still not enough. Like people still aren't doing it enough because you hear years later down the road, like you'll see this band that was maybe popping off, and then on the outside they're just like everything's great, man. And then
Yeah.
you hear like when you hear this true story, they were all like severely like depressed and
Sure.
dealing with like mental health issues and like not happy at all and like completely lost and so yeah, it honestly pisses me off after a while when I see just how much people just curate everything,
Yeah.
and and people are really good at it. They're fucking way better at it than I'll ever be.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because they have like the right camera and they know the exact thing to say that's trending at the moment. And
They also have
know
a team. They have a team. There are people doing this with them. That's something that it took me a long time to realize. I think it was the pandemic that made me realize, like, oh, that's why their shit looks better than.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking kind of like in the podcast world. Like, that's why their stuff is working better. It's not just one guy. So for me, for so many years, you too, I know you have guys in your band and you work with people. But at the end of the day, like the Barney Cortez.
Yeah, it's me.
Is Barney Cortez.
These people have focus groups that are studying like how to. They have people telling them how to caption their posts.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Don't say
and
that. Say this. Put this emoji on it." Like, it's that.
And it never worked for me. I was just like, let me just find something that aesthetically works for me. Like, I mean, you and I have talked about this before. I've used the same aesthetic visual elements of my show for like 6 or 7 years. I was just like, it works. Like, what am I going to do? Get a new one? Like,
right. No, I'm the same way.
Yeah. Because you and I you and I focus, and there's we know a lot of artists in our world and people who we are friends with. They're just like, I just want to make stuff. I don't care about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. And yeah, man, that's what it comes down to is I just want to play shows. I want to hang with people that we share a connection in music with, and I want to like record. I want to keep writing cool songs that people dig. And,
for sure.
But there's all this other stuff that you have to do, man. It's like, and basically now in 2025, you've got to. I mean, and touring is like, I mean, you're lucky to get a booking agent, and then the booking agent is basically going to book the shows, and then he's like, "Good luck, peace."
Yeah, right.
There is no promoters anymore. People don't promotion. You're the promoter. You got to pay for the fucking ads if you want. You got to put the bills together, local bills. You've got to. I mean, the promoter. I had a promoter wouldn't even print out my flyer. He wanted me to mail. He wanted me to print my flyer and mail it to the venue. And I had to like beg him to put it up. So luckily, I got one of the other bands in DC to put the flyer up. But like, I'm like, dude, you guys don't even have a printer and you can't even put up the flyer of the show in your venue because they're just like, here's the room.
Yeah,
that's all we're gonna do.
But they're more than happy to take the cut off the door. They're more than happy to show you something at the end of the night, being like, well, you didn't make a lot of money. I'm like, well, I'm sure you did. So, and sometimes they don't. Like you,
sometimes I mean, sometimes they're because they do have to, keep the lights on. Blah blah.
No,
blah,
it's
the bartenders.
But in the somewhere in it, it becomes this like this adversarial thing where in the end I always just scratch my head. I'm like, we're doing the same thing theoretically. Like you love music, I make music. Theoretically, we should be simpatico. We should be
on the
like
same
an
team.
Unstoppable team. Where like you want your venue to be successful, I want your venue to be successful because I want to come back and play. It's always nice to have at least one other person on tour who's like sort of, even if they're not just like the guy who drives the van, just someone who's got it all in his head. I remember running into you when you were playing with Rayland, and your tour manager at the time, whose name I forgot, he was that older guy. I loved him.
You talk about CP, man.
He was a kick, and just watching how you guys moved and like kind of did your thing, and I was like, Right
Yeah.
on. Like, yeah,
DP's
it was wonderful to run into you that summer in that way too. Like, kind of both of us kind of outside of our normal Philadelphia element, just to kind of
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
It was funny to be in your stomping ground because I had assumed for years that you were like from PA, I guess,
nah, Western New York.
New Yorker, upstate New York. Oh,
Yep,
Western.
yep, yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not, that wasn't that's not at West. That's not upstate New York, right?
No, that's west. Like we're in the Great Lakes region. Like
That's right,
we're
yeah.
practically Canada at that point.
That was funny. We played didn't we do like 2 shows in one day?
Yep. You guys headlined that night. It was great. And then we turned tail and set you guys up at that club down the street, and you guys played great there too.
Oh,
It was a
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
time.
I was going deaf at that show. I remember. I was just like, "Help me!"
Oh gosh, yeah.
I remember
Oh,
that
the-
show in particular. It was not.
Yeah.
It was. I was at a. I always tend to stand at the worst spot. I was in like the bass trap area, so it was just
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I was just like going. I was like using like my sixth sense to get through the set. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
just like, I think we're at the chorus. I don't know. That's what it can be like that sometimes, man.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. That's just all. Yeah, and yeah, the circumstances which you play when you're on tour, you just like, but you have to sort of grin through all of it because
Oh yeah.
people.
Well, also we're guys that don't use. Everybody uses in-ears now, so people don't even use monitors anymore. It's
Right.
it's like a dinosaur. We're like dinosaurs, like still using monitors. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, you don't have the in-ears? Oh, okay. All right. So you're gonna blast the music out of the monitors, and then it's like, yeah, like I don't want to fucking have some shit in my ear,
Right.
like, and be
Sure.
like we're jamming on like AirPods, like
You like the way those like silent discos work, yeah. We're like everyone-
that's exactly what it is.
That's right, yeah. So I want to play a video here from Musikfest. It'll somewhat help us like stick with this topic here of playing shows, gigs, getting into the little bit of a nerdiness, a factor as well, because I would love you to share some of the specifics around the effects pedals. Like you were talking a little bit about songwriting and chord changes. People love all this kind of deep dive nerdy stuff into the weeds. And so I would love for you to kind of share a little bit more about that stuff. Because it's a nice long video. And actually, I did this on purpose. It's also nowhere to hide. And it's because we're going to lower it and talk over the top of it. So, but people will know what the studio recording sounded like from the top of the show.
Oh, sick.
And then now here's like the live version of what it could be when you go see a Barney Cortez show. We could
Yeah.
also speak to Frank Tooby and Keaton Thandy. Like we can kind of get to all this fun stuff. But there is a through line here in that when we get to the parts where you start losing strings on your guitar, I want you to share what that felt like. So anyway, I'm just going to start it up here and we'll keep chatting.
All right, cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'll bring down the volume here a little bit. But let's just talk about off the top here. Musikfest, how was it for you?
Oh, it was cool, man. Yeah, the sound was nice. And it was that day was really beautiful. I remember.
Yeah, weather
It
was
was
perfect.
yeah, we had been playing a lot, so we were pretty comfortable, which was nice. We had just played in Pittsburgh, but not too long before that, and that was a really cool set too. Another outdoor show.
Right.
Just it's always bands love to play outside. It's the sound is easier to deal with.
Sure.
You don't have a lot of reflection going on.
Yeah, and this
So
is a
it's-
very unique stage because basically right in front of you, to your left is our public library, and to your right is like the township buildings, like the mayor's office, the place where you go to get like a permit to do a reno work in your house or whatever. So it's basically like the offices of Bethlehem Township.
Oh yeah.
But the sound bounces off all those concrete buildings and those windows so beautifully that it's the best sounding stage out of the 15 of
That's where I break a
Musikfest.
string.
Yeah. So there's one, right? Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
down to 5 at this point, but
It's right when you start the solo too. You're just like, great, off to a great start.
yeah,
Yeah, and then I think later, and then at that point,
you lose another one. Yeah.
there it is. Yeah.
It'll happen when you go to the drum set later on with the next
That's
solo.
right, yeah, it was a D. I think it was I broke the B and the E string. Yeah, at that point I was just
Yeah.
in my mind. I was just like, God damn.
That's what I wanted to
Right.
know is like, what's left like in your brain at that point? You're like, do you have to adapt which chords you're playing? Like, what do you
Keep it,
do?
Absolutely.
yeah, well, you're lucky if it's the high E and the B, like, because you can still kind of Keith Richards it out and keep it doomy and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I was actually playing a gig on South by Southwest once, and I broke the D string, which is the worst, the middle. So it's like you can't do anything, man. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, I just kind of like chucked the guitar. And I had no, we didn't have any techs or anything, and I hate, like, I always have a backup guitar, but that was the last song anyway, so I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna keep it going. Yeah. But yeah, you just the problem too is when you break a string, the other two strings go out of tune. So luckily this was
So this here, what you're gonna do with the board here? Because you get some funky.
Oh, that's oh yeah, that's this. I mess around a lot with like delays and stuff. So I just keep it psyched out, and I think I was I go between, like, when I have that fuzz on, I go between just being like completely dry so that it's punchy.
Sure.
And then stepping on the delay so that I get it all trippy and atmospheric, and
right.
And then what I'll do is, like, it's a common thing, but you just turn the feedback knob like all the way up, so it just keeps going.
Yeah, love it.
It starts getting kind of crazy, and then cause if you just leave it like that, it'll get like too wild. Like you have to dial it back.
Sure.
But
it's a sick solo, by the way. This was so much fun to watch.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I had gravitated straight to the front of the stage so that I could capture all this.
Yeah, it was. As a three-piece band too, we have a lot of room to just kind of jam out, and it's like I'm the only like melodic instrument, so it's like that's why it's just like, yeah, might as well play some guitar solos. Like, I can do that.
There you go. Try and get that broken string out of your way.
Yeah. That's where I broke the other one. And at that point it was just noise.
Very Jay Mascis, what's going on here? Big, heavy riffage. There's like the it reminds me of like Melvins, and that sparseness too. Because if you think about the Melvins,
I'm pretty sure here is where the other string breaks. Because when you turn around, you got two flying.
Yeah. I broke another one.
At that point, you're just like,
yeah, my guitar is way.
I couldn't believe it still sounded like the song, like the little bit of music that I know. I'm like, okay, you're 33% out of strings, and how could you?
Well, luckily, I luck. Sometimes you just luck out. Like the main riff is on the lower string.
Sure.
But they were also I was like way out of tune. But at that point, it's rock and roll, man. You're just like letting her rip. If it's like more of a ballad or something, and your guitar is clean, and you're playing chords that are like severely out of tune, then it's kind of like.
But the fun part about that was, like, as I'm recording, like, there's these moments. These are the click moments that happen for me as like this kind of content producer. It's like I'm recording this thing and you just keep busting strings and like, this is gold right here. It's like, I can't wait to share it with you. I hope you come on the show so we can talk about it. And I'm like, this is dynamite.
I was actually glad that you were filming because I don't think anyone's ever caught me breaking a string like on film. I was like, this will be interesting to watch,
Oh, that was awesome. Well, thank you also for diving in that. But let's take a moment now to talk about Frank and Keaton. Like, I was sitting there. I have an inkling of what that meant because of being kind of connected to Philly music scene, mostly through Dan, that I'm writing to him in Hong Kong going, I was like, I'm currently watching Barney Cortez with Frank Tooby and Keaton Tandy behind him. And he just writes back to me. He's like, holy shit. Like, it was just like,
nice.
I wasn't trying to make him feel like a FOMO moment, but
they're all FOMO moments.
That's my new. Those guys have been playing with me. Well, I also have this guy Rob Tate, who's another songwriter on drum.
Oh, Rob's the man.
Yeah, he's great, and he did some gigs, and then but Keaton was actually I lived with Keaton for like a year, over a year in Germantown, so we were roommates. Because I had him come and he plays on What You're Looking For, the song that I put out. So he plays on that song. So he came to the studio, and at that point, I needed a new spot to live. So I ended up living with him, the funny thing is we didn't end up playing together until after I moved out. But so he was, there's not a lot of like, there's only so many people around that are like down to like get on the road. And so so Keaton is, he's a Capricorn like me.
Me too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Capricorn. Yeah. I've, I'm not a big astrology guy, but when I do notice sometimes, like when I found out that he was a Capricorn, I was just like, oh, that makes so much sense. Because he's got this intensity about him, and he's very like, they're Capricorns are like very like, I've noticed they're like very individualistic. You know what I mean? They like do their thing like a certain way, and like, other people might kind of like other people, when you find out when a Capricorn is a Capricorn, like you're like, oh, that makes sense, because they're just like so rigid in what they do, which
Right,
is
yes.
to a fault sometimes,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, cause like he's just got that same, he's like a student of music too. He like loves like all types of music. So we're just music nerds, man. The three of them, really. And we'll listen to anything. We'll listen to fucking jazz, like rock, new wave, punk rock, straight, like Fela Kuti, Cuban jazz, whatever, man. Like we're always just like,
Just throw it on.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm just interested in whatever. And then Tubi I recorded his album at here actually. So he was like, I had seen him singing I saw him singing I think he was singing Helter Skelter or something, but I was like, damn, I was like, this guy can like rip, his vocals rip, like I can't sing like that. I'm more just, I can sing in my range, and that's about it. I just, I have to make up for it with the extension of my voice is the guitar, but he can like so he's a great songwriter, and he's originally a bassist. So I was recording his record, and I just was like, yeah, would you, just was like, I need a bassist. Would you want to do these gigs? So luckily he was down. So it's cool to have two like super musical people, because you need that. Otherwise it wouldn't, like if I I couldn't think of anybody else that could like hold it down like that. And also too, it's this day and age, we're all doing so many things. We don't have that much time to like get up. It's like, so when we go up there, we're like kind of winging it. I mean, we know the tunes, but like, it's not like we're like a band that lives together and we like rehearse like Nirvana 6 hours a day every day.
Right.
Like, we're just it just doesn't exist anymore, man, unless you've got a label backing you and you've got like your bills paid and all that. Otherwise, you've got to have guys that can just go up there and do it.
A lot of trust too between the three of you, being able to go up there. And again, you talk about like the power trio. It can be sparse, and that can be awesome, but it also leaves a lot of room to hear if something isn't working.
It's scary, but it's fun.
You can't hide behind a second rhythm guitar or a keyboard or something like that. It's just like, here it is. It's like the CCR rule. It's like vocals, low end, drums, guitar, and that's all you got.
That's a good reference. I love CCR.
Yeah.
Just keep it rolling.
Yeah. And the thing I love about you playing with Josh, who as everyone knows as To Be Frank, is that like you guys are very kindred spirits in how you go about making records and how you go about creating, because I've always known you both as people who are just like, they'll just hole up in a room for a couple of months, and then they'll come out with something and you'll just be like, holy shit, like what was that? You guys have both done that for me at various times. And Josh was cool enough to send me what you guys had just been working on. The full, can I spoil too much? It's just like it doesn't have tracks. It's like 40. It's a 40-minute record without track marks, because you guys are going to put it out on a cassette or something like that. It was like,
that's awesome. I know he's making cassettes.
Yeah, but the way he gave it to me was in
Oh,
one
cool. He gave you like the whole
one piece, and I sat and listened. Well, I was moving around the city. I was traveling through the city on transit, but I just had it in my ears the whole time, just listening to the whole thing, and me being like, there are
Yeah.
songs on that record, and they could be cut out as songs, but I was like, no, this is a really fun way to listen to this, because we could
You're
bemoan,
forced to listen through.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we would obviously, you and I, all of us as either taker inners of music or just creators. The fact that everything has to be boiled down, not even to like a 3-minute song length. Like you talked about liking 3-minute songs, and I like 3-minute songs, but now I feel like, I don't know, people just like, well, can you boil that 3-minute song down to like a minute of the best part? And I just want to throw my hands in the air and just be like, get out of here.
That's basically the way the Polyphonic Spree album, their latest one, went. Is it's meant to be listened to from beginning to end. They did have track markers on it, but cool. When I chatted with Tim DeLauder, I somehow was lucky enough to bring him on the show, and he was like, yeah, I don't want anybody to listen to any one song. I want you to listen to it from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it was designed.
That's anybody that makes a record, man. You don't want people to. I mean, people are always going to gravitate towards certain songs, but when you put in that much work with the whole thing, like,
right,
you want people to. I mean, that's never going to
take it all in. Right.
Like, no one's ever going to love. No one's unless you like make like the classic record, which is like only so many people do that. I mean, there's like only certain records in my book that you put it on from beginning to end, and it's all earworms. You know, it's just. Some stuff grows on you, and you'll get to that point. But most stuff, there'll be a song. By the third song, you're like, I gotta skip this one. I don't like it. I do it with my own shit, man. Why did I put that?
Absolutely.
I was like going for this thing that I thought was cool at the moment, and then later on, I was just like, what was I doing, man? But luckily, I don't have a label that's just like, do not put that tune out. I can do what I want. So
I
do what I want.
Yeah. I think if you did, though, you would still put it out, because like
probably
you just from you and I knowing each other, we're both pretty. We're like, if someone tells us not to do something, we're like, I'm definitely going to do it now.
Oh yeah, or I would put it out under another name or something.
Right.
I have a whole other project
I put it out twice.
I have a whole other project that's like bedroom pop that I wear like a mask and stuff, and people don't even know it's me. Like,
that's fantastic.
It has
you could open for yourself then.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten offers to play. People like really like the music, like, and they're just like they probably assume I'm like this like 20-year-old kid.
Sure.
Because it's like Mac DeMarco kind of like.
Can you share the name of the project?
I'll tell you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair. That's right. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But I always
don't
do.
Follow,
so that's
like any of the social media or anything.
Sure.
Like I don't cross pollinate. You know.
I love it. I love that. There we go. Now there's some secrecy out there. We got to find this thing. But similar to that is I always do go in search of at least one like trivial little tidbit that maybe is a little bit harder to find. And maybe this is or isn't, but it sounded like you were once, trying to be recruited for a side project of Anthony Kiedis.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't exactly put it that way. I was like, I got to meet him, and we ended up like talking for a long time, and he was listening to my band, the Rituals. Actually, we were doing kind of like, and he was like, oh, I like this stuff. He's like, this is like reminds me of like when the early Chili Peppers, and he was like, I think he's the type of guy that kind of just talks,
Sure.
So he was because he was talking about trying to form another band, but it's like I don't think he has any side bands, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he's probably one of those guys that's always trying to like do something else, but then it's just like at the end of the day, it's like, dude, you're in the Chili Peppers, like
right. Yeah, management's probably like, you're not going to do that.
Yeah. So he was, but anyway, we were hanging, and he was like, I'm looking for a bassist, because obviously Flea can't, and I was like, I play bass, man, and I do. I'm not amazing. I'm a guitarist first, but I play bass on all my stuff. I was like, I play bass, man. Like, let me know. He's like, all right, write down here. And I was at my job, so my boss comes and like gives me a piece of paper. He's like, dude, he's like, this could be it, man. Be the break. Write your number down. So I write my number down, and like I was like, I think I gave him like a ring of mine or something, some cheap ring or whatever, because he liked it. So he like put it on. He was like, "You rule, man. Thank you, dude." And he like walked. He was like, "I'm gonna hit you up, dude. I'm gonna call you." He never called.
And then never heard from him again.
I mean, I kind of do. It was fun to hang with him. We got
Yeah,
to
or
talk
even just
about
to
music.
think, maybe it's going to happen tomorrow morning, and he'll reach out.
Maybe. Yeah.
Imagine
That was a cool
he's still
job.
got that sheet of paper.
I got to meet a lot of that job. Actually, I met a lot of cool music. I met Raphael Sadiq there too, and he did not want to talk to me, which was cool. I think he was like on a date, and I was like, "Hey man, you're Raphael Sadiq, right?" And he was like, just kind of like, "Go the fuck away," which I totally respect. I was like, "All right, cool, man, yeah." And also too, but I don't think he's the type of guy to get recognized that much either. So
Well, no, he's one of the guys. If you know who he is, like it's because you are a fan.
I'm a
like,
nerd. I'm nerdy enough to know that he produced How Does It Feel by D'Angelo, and
Raphael Sadiq. The first time I heard Raphael Sadiq, I was late to the Raphael Sadiq party. He'd been around for a good few records, and like the first time I heard like that one record that everyone loves, I was like, basically like blasting all like my neo soul friends. I'm like, how come no one told me this record existed? What is wrong with you? It's me. It's my fault. But like, I love blaming people for not putting something in front of me a year earlier.
I know.
But the first time I heard like him, I was like, oh my God. Like, cause again, I'm a guitar guy. You're a guitar guy. So like, that's going to be
he played for Prince. He was in Prince's band. I think that's how he started. That's
going to be my portal in to just about any kind of music. Sure. It's just like, is the guitar ripping? And if it rips, I'm just like, cool, I'm in. I don't care what kind of music it is.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thank you so much for all the time you've given us too. Like, this is incredible, and would probably, like you had said, there's a couple topics we could have dove in even deeper on. So my sense tells me we might have a Barney Cortez Part 2 interview down the road. But
dude, I'm always down.
I want to make sure that we promote things. So you've got the brand new music coming out, which, like you have shared, a bunch of the tracks are already out there, but they'll get all wrapped up into the LP. And then there's some tour. So I'm going to share your Linktree page.
Oh, cool.
And then we can kind of show that you can pre-order vinyl. And then there's shows on basically starting, next week? 12th in Raleigh.
Yeah, it's coming up actually very soon.
Yeah. The Charlotte on the 17th, Richmond on the 18th, New York City the 25th, DC the 26th, and then the hometown show at Silk City on the 27th.
Oh, you're playing with Ooh La La. My God, that's good. Now I have FOMO because like, oh man, that's going to be a great show. Oh man, I love Michael. I interviewed him a couple years ago. He came over to the house, and he's just like, he's such a force, man.
Oh yeah. I've looked up to Mike for years. I used to play. I played in his band. I played guitar in his band like when I was a young buck, and he was like up and coming. He had the Spinning Leaves.
Spinning Leaves, man. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, Mike's the man.
Yeah, it's just so funny.
Tubi's playing that show too. To be frank,
great. Oh, great. Mike, just rub it in, Barney. Just rub it in.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping that people come. It's fucking hard to like. For some reason, it's like hard to bring people out in your hometown, especially because I've been doing the thing for so long. It's
right.
Like, when you're a newer band, it's easier. Like, because they're like, oh, this band is hot. It's just like, oh, Barney's playing. I've seen it.
Yeah. I would hope with the combination of you and Josh's work and Michael, like there's enough crossover that like everyone's going to come to that for like a different band, but everyone's going to leave being like, oh, well, this was great. Everyone was great. Like, I'm so glad I went to this show.
Yeah, that's
I agree with you. It's tough. It's there's so many more things to contend with right now that aren't even like live music. Like, I miss the days of like the early aughts where like it was like, oh, well, we just have to compete with the other venues and the other bands, not compete, but like, and now it's just like people could just like want to watch something on streaming, and you have to contend with that, and you can't.
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't. It's gotta. Yeah, it's tough these days, but
yeah. I do think that the people who do go out now more, and the people who do go out to see music, I mean, I'm experiencing this here, even in Hong Kong, like we're in, like it's an intentional move. Like we are at a show because we want to be at a show, whether we know the artist or not. We're there to engage in, like, just look around and look at other people and just be like, these people are also here to see music. And like, it's something I take less for granted now.
That's a good thing to remember, is that the live music will never die. People are going to continue to, just like when we were little kids and we went and saw the band on the stage, and then we saw the guys plugging in their guitars and the singer at the mic, and we were filled with that like curiosity, you know, and the mystique of it all. Like that was never going to change. Like AI can't replace that kind of thing.
No.
Unless they start putting chips in our brains so that we can like feel it, but hopefully
they would like to. Someday. They would enjoy that.
Yeah, they'll do it. I mean, they're gonna probably try to do it at some point, but and then we're gonna have to figure out the difference between like real emotions and like computer generated emotions. That
totally true.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild if you think about it. So luckily we'll be gone by
yeah. But hopefully we get to take in more Barney Cortez between now and then. I hope you also come back up this way to Bethlehem. Obviously, I can get to Philly or New York, but
I got a little connect up there. I'll definitely. I'm hoping they'll book me. But you missed it. I played there before too. You weren't there, but I played like in the inside. I played at the inside that little hall where they have like the movie theater. You know
sure, right.
Yeah, we played a gig in there. It was really cool. It sounded awesome.
I remember I saw you on the Levitt, the Levitt Foundation lineup during the summer.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I think I was either on vacation or I had two kids graduate college, so like I just had between like May and July there was a lot of stuff going down, and then I was just like, well, I'll definitely get to see them at Musikfest. So the new music.
It was messed up that you weren't there.
Right. Totally. Yeah,
it is odd that Phil wouldn't be there. Actually, like it is strange.
Yes. Your kid, it's only your kids graduating from college.
Oh my gosh,
it's not that big a deal.
No, right? Yes, yeah. And there was a trip to France in there too to celebrate. Anyway, but the point is, would love to see more. Like like I said, kind of off the top here, the Barney Cortez sound is for me personally like exactly what I love to listen to. And then your live performance just took it up a whole other notch. So I've been telling all my friends, like I have college buddies who are in Charlotte, in Virginia, in Charleston, and I'm like, you guys got to go catch this show because it's exactly like you were sharing a lot of the people who you emulate or kind of like borrow kind of sound from. For me, when I was listening to it, even before the live show, I was always like, it's kind of like a grungier Bowie, in my opinion. Like that's kind of what you make me think of when I listen to the music.
I love. Yeah, man, I love Nico. Well, Nico's Gun was doing that kind of thing too. So
sure.
A huge Bowie fan. Big. Yeah. That's a cool reference. I like that. I'm gonna use that.
That's what I think. It was kind of like if Bowie and Weezer went out on a date kind of thing.
Hell yeah, awesome.
But better than all
blender,
that. So.
Man.
Yeah. So anyway, can't wait for the new stuff. Hopefully another show can happen. And thank you so much for coming on the show and for performing. That was wonderful.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
It was always a pleasure to talk to you guys. And
it's good to see a familiar face. They're fewer and farther between me these days.
Dan, you're gonna start thriving in Hong Kong, man.
Working on it. Yeah.
I appreciate you getting up at 7 a.m. to do this.
That's true.
No, it's good. It's now I can go about my day, and it's always interesting to interact from this end. Is I'll talk to people at night. They'll be like, "Well, good night." I'll be like, "I gotta go do stuff now."
I'm just starting my day.
Right. Yeah. Well, also too, you probably don't get to speak much English over there either. Like,
no, it's Hong Kong's a very international city. A lot of English. They were an English colony for 150 years. So
so a lot of them speak English.
And everyone's from everywhere here.
Right. Yeah.
From all over Asia and Europe, and this is a real. That's cool. It's like New York. It's a real. Yeah. It's a real mix. It's like the Italian market in the 90s.
Yeah.
And we've come full circle.
There we go.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Barney.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
Peace.
Daniel.
Philip.
What a wonderful, wonderful chat. We got on such awesome topics, like from
That was
personal
fun.
stuff to then some esoteric. It was just awesome. I looked up and I'm like, holy smokes, it's an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. And the fun thing about Barney, like I've known Barney for a while, and like in real life, like he and I will find ourselves like sitting in a green room or sitting backstage or sitting outside a venue or something like that. And then we'll just look up and just be like, we've been sitting here for 35 minutes just talking about like, again, something is like T-Rex or something like that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
But he's the best. I've said it all the time. Like the best creative people, the best artists are like super fans. Like we got into this at the beginning because we just loved it, and then we figured out a way to be a part of it. You love it so much you become a part of it, and that's, you know, I never understand people, musicians, who are just like, no, I don't really listen to much music. I'm like, well, then go do something else, man. Like,
right. That's exactly right. No, you're absolutely right about that. But also, I super appreciate you getting up early to do this. It's great to see you. It's great to banter with you.
Oh, yes.
And hopefully we can do it some more going forward. But definitely appreciate this opportunity. And we're going to close with his song. I think we're going to close with Crash. That's a more recent track that he released off of the prior EP. But it's a great, great song. And I think I was going to close with that one. The other one I have here, if you have a preference, is Cover Band.
No, Crash is great. That's
yeah.
Good tune.
All right, we'll go with Crash then.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We'd like to sincerely thank Barney Cortez for joining us today, for sharing his whole backstory, the inspirations behind his music, as well as so many other really, really amazing topics. And also, obviously, like to thank Dan Drago for helping us co-host this all the way from Hong Kong, and a 12-hour flip on the calendar. So if it's PM here, it's AM there, so you can feel bad for him for getting up this early. But basically, we want to make sure that you check out Barney Cortez's entire catalog. We'll be linking to all that in the show notes. We really think you should check out the 25 O'Clock Pod so that you can get more of Dan's content. He's doing nothing but the Philadelphia and Philadelphia adjacent music scene, and has for 10 years, over 300 some episodes. Right now, he's also putting out an episode every month that is basically just latest releases from Philadelphia bands, and they're so fun to listen to. Really, really great music out there, and just keeping up on what's going on in the scene. As always, our hope here is to bring you your next favorite band. If you joined in tonight because you already knew Barney Cortez, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. We hope you liked what you heard and what you saw, that you might consider giving us a subscribe, like, or follow, so that we can bring you your next favorite band in a coming week. Or perhaps your next favorite band is already out there. Nextfaveband.com and the Next Fave Band YouTube channel has all of our prior episodes on it. So you can always go check out 1, 2, or 3 and just see if there's somebody else out there that you didn't know about that could become your next favorite band. Hope to see you at a live show soon. Hope to see you at a Barney Cortez show. And we're going to, like we said, kind of finish with one more track from Barney Cortez. It's the song called Crash.